Hey, what's up, veterans? We back. News Tuesday. I'm here to share basically the latest news that affects veterans this week. As always, I'm Ryan Rowley, and this is Simple Benefits. Um, and what I do is I teach veterans about anything about their benefits. And lately, the main thing is VA claims, showing you how to uh, get approved, increase your rating, um, or even show you what to do when you get denied, because pretty much everybody gets denied. So, first things first, the VA just made a big announcement to help veterans and their families even more. So, they're moving one of their offices, which is called the Office of Survivors Assistance, to a better spot so it's easier for families of veterans who passed away to get help. Now, they're also starting a new team with a fancy name called the White Glove Survivor Outreach Team, which means they'll have special helpers who focus only on taking care of families who need support after a veteran passes away. And they're using a smart computer program, basically called data analytics, to find veterans who might be struggling or need help before it becomes a problem. So, in short, the VA is making it easier for families to get help. They're giving personal attention to survivors, and they're using technology to help veterans take care of who might need it. What's good, Be Humble? And also, I'm going to post the links to these articles in the chat. Shout out to Be Humble. I'm going to be going live I don't know if we're going live or not, but I'm definitely going on his podcast soon. So definitely check out Be Humble. So what's next? So the VA, which helps take care of military veterans, had to talk to Congress because a lot of people are upset about the upcoming job cuts. The VA is letting go of thousands of workers. So this means fewer people working to help veterans get their health care benefits and support, of course. So during a meeting with Congress, things got a little tense. So some lawmakers were worried that firing so many people might hurt veterans who need help. But the VA secretary said that they're only cutting jobs because they hired too many people during the pandemic, and now they don't really need all of them. So to recap that article, the VA is planning big layoffs, as we know. Congress is worried this will hurt veterans, which is reassuring. I'm glad they shown that they care. That's awesome. And the VA is going back, or the VA is basically saying they're just going back to pre-COVID numbers. Cool. Next article. So the VA recently shared what they've done in the first 100 days of the new administration to better help veterans. So here's a breakdown, and also I added my thoughts. So can we expect long wait times again? Man, honestly, um, is is kind of a hit or miss with this stuff. I mean, I don't want to be a bad news bear, but more than likely. But as we implement new technology, it might get even faster. But more than likely, yeah, it's probably going to slow down again. So first things first about those 100 days of new administration. More healthcare choices. Veterans now have more options to choose where they get care. Now, more choices sound great until you realize without quality is just chaos. So, are these options actually better, or are they just shifting veterans into overwhelmed or underqualified civilian systems? Also, who's monitoring the private providers to make sure they understand veterans' unique needs? Yeah, Jay Jackson. Yeah. What's up, Jamie? Yeah, hurry up and wait. That's right. That's what we do best. Number two, new clinics are open. So 6 new clinics have opened across the country. Now, 6 clinics in the nation serving millions of veterans. That's like adding a porta potty to a marathon, calling it infrastructure reform. So, where were they open? Underserved rural areas or just urban centers? Are they fully staffed or just empty buildings with a logo? I mean, I just read up an article or presented y'all an article about job cuts. Employees back in office. So staff are returning to physical offices to better serve veterans. Back in the office doesn't necessarily guarantee better service, of course, right? Um, it just means more overhead. Were problems during remote work about location or about accountability and performance? I mean, bringing people back in doesn't necessarily fix the broken system if people are still ignoring phone calls and still losing paperwork. Where were these clinics? Let me circle back around to that. Actually, let me look that up now. So it looked like they got a few new facilities. One in Fredericksburg um, that opened in February. What else? They got one in Norfolk. They got one in Georgia, which is in Macon and Gwinnett County. And then they got another one in Camden, New Jersey. That's where I'm seeing the latest ones are. Yeah, these are definitely sounding like outpatient clinics. All right, so focus medical spending. Funds are being redirected from certain treatments to support severely injured veterans. So, I mean, that sounds great, but what treatments were cut? Mental health services, holistic care, preventative medicine, trading long term wellness for short term visible injuries, risks, ignoring invisible wounds like PTSD, MST, which are already undersupported. Yeah, yeah, these started. Yeah, this is like sounds like a long time coming. Yeah, they taking credit rights. Yeah. Nah, you ain't said no new clinic in 100 days. It's facts. That's the thing, man. With a lot of these articles and news that they put out and stuff, it a lot of times when you really read into it, it's kind of misleading. It's kind of misleading, man. So faster disability claims. This is what Jay was talking about earlier. So the VA is processing claims faster than ever. Now, faster doesn't always mean better. How many claims are being rushed and denied just to hit performance metrics? Veterans know that process doesn't mean approved, and faster rejections don't help anyone. Are we measuring speed or justice? You tell me. Better health records. So improvements are being made to the electronic health record system. So veterans have heard about this. The VA has dumped billions into health record systems for over a decade, with little to show for it, but delays and system crashes. Are these improvements fixing the root problems, or are they just putting lipstick on a busted server? I don't know. Budget reallocation. So money is being redirected from programs that don't directly help veterans. Who decides what directly helps veterans? Sometimes programs like outreach, education, or diversity training are actually preventing bigger problems down the road. Cutting them might look good on paper, but could quietly hurt veterans who don't fit the traditional mold or who need extra advocacy. So, yeah, man, those were the 7 points that the new administration basically made their improvements with for veterans. And those were my thoughts with it. I mean, you know, take what you can from that. Next article. So this article is basically saying the VA is updating its computer system that stores veterans' health records. This system is called the Federal Electronic Health Record, which is EHR. This, think of it like a digital notebook that doctors and nurses use to keep track of your health information. So what's new with this? In 2026, the VA plans to introduce this new system to 9 more medical centers across the country. These centers are in states like Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, and Alaska. So this means that more veterans will have their health information stored in this updated system. Now, why is this important? So the goal is to make it easier for doctors and nurses to access and share health information, especially between the VA and the DoD. This helps ensure that veterans receive better and more coordinated care, no matter where they go for treatment. Now, I think this is a great thing because, like while we're serving, we go to sick call and we go to the hospital and things like that and get things done. Now, when we get out, we don't necessarily have to hope and pray that they're actually in our records, right? I know there's plenty of things and plenty of times when I went to SIP call and it was nowhere to be found in my medical records. So I hope this is, going in a better direction. So looking ahead, the VA aims to have this new system and all of its medical facilities by 2031. Um, that's a little ways away. What's that? 6 years. Um, They're working closely with healthcare professionals and technology experts to make sure everything runs smoothly and safety. Now, I'm sure if they're already losing their medical records, they probably gonna lose some more. So get copies of your medical records because you're probably gonna have to update them. Now, I kind of like this article. It's about basically a story of a veteran. Um, it's about Dave Gorman, and this article is called "From Soldier to Hero" for veterans. So Dave Gorman was a young soldier during the Vietnam War, and one day, while on a mission to disarm a dangerous bomb, it exploded. The blast was devastating. It killed 3 of his fellow soldiers and severely injured Dave, leading to the loss of his legs. Now that's crazy. So he was the one disarming the bomb, and then 3 people died around him. He just lost his legs. That's wild. After this life changing event, Dave returned to the United States and spent a lot of time in the hospital recovering. There, he met other veterans who were also dealing with serious injuries. They formed a close knit group, supporting each other and shaping and sharing tips on how to adapt to their new lives. Now, instead of giving up, Dave decided to dedicate his life to helping other veterans. Now, he became a leader in an organization called Disabled American Veterans, which is DAV. I'm sure a lot of y'all have heard of it, where he worked to ensure that veterans received the benefits and support they deserved. Now, he even played a significant role in passing important laws to protect veterans' healthcare and benefits, ensuring they would continue even during government shutdowns. Now, Dave's story is a powerful example of turning personal tragedy into a lifelong mission to help others. He showed that even after facing immense challenges, one can make a positive difference in the lives of many. Now, I love this story because I can relate to it. The reason why I started the Simple Benefits channel is because when I got out of the military, I mean, it was a struggle to transition. Um, I basically was a 12 Bravo, which is a combat engineer in the Army. And, just because engineer is in my job title name doesn't mean I qualify to be an engineer. And, I quickly found that out when I got out. And so I basically didn't qualify for anything but law enforcement. That's basically the only people that wanted me. And so I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to continue putting my life on the line for others and all that good stuff. I wanted to just be here for my family and put my life on the line for them. So I thought back to, what was I good at before I got into the military? Because, when you go through TAPS, they have you take all these surveys and things like that, like personality tests, um, what job surveys as to what skills you're good at, things like that. And none of them really help, of course. And but I still encourage you to take them. They might help you, but it didn't help me. And I remember that I was always interested and intrigued with technology, and I like computers a lot. So I went to IT. And after I figured out what I need to do to get into that career field, which is, you got to get it, you got to get educated, you got to get experience, and you got to get some certs. And after I did that, which was a rough transition, like learning a new skill and things like that. But after I did that, it was golden. Like I'm working at the USDA right now. I've been here for about 5 years, and it's been pretty good to me. Um, until now. Now it's a little rough because we got the rifts going on. I was just reading an article about the USDA that um, they had the deferred resignation program, which is a voluntary leave program, which is basically where if you resign from your position, they'll pay you for the next 5 to 7 months. And so apparently 15,000 employees took that, which was about 15% of the USDA. And I mean, like in my building, it's so it's like you could hear a pin drop. I mean, I work in like the probably the within the top 10 of the largest office buildings in the world, outside of like the Pentagon. And yeah, it's a lot less people there now. But so the DC metro area was definitely greatly affected USDA wise from that program. And so that's been interesting. But to get back to my point, the reason why I made this channel was because I struggled with getting out of the military and figuring out the benefits that actually supported me in my journey to finding suitable employment, and also creating a solid lifestyle for myself and my future family. Um, but last but not least, one of the programs I went through was Hiring at Heroes, and what they have is like a 6-week program to where you can basically, it's like an internship, a paid internship, and it was for an IT role, and I got hired afterwards, and that was my first IT job, from a veteran supporting organization. And I encourage y'all to check out Hiring at Heroes. They have quite a few opportunities all over the U.S. But yeah, also I wanted to share my screen. Let me see, to show you the website. Yeah, this is simplevetbenefits.com. I encourage you to check out the website. We have quite a few resources on here for you regarding RIF survival guides, the vet rating guide, which is my full course to show you how to master VA claims. You got the transition guide, the military wealth starter guide, to show you how to build wealth for you and your family, and also the VA rating pocket guide, which is like a condensed guide compared to the full course. But yeah, check that out, y'all. I appreciate y'all for watching, and y'all have a great week.